Hello and welcome to Didi Rugby Live with me, Martin Crowson. Hello to all grandparents, carers, parents, boys and girls who have tuned in today. Thank you very much for doing so. And I'm delighted to be joined by England International, Worcester Warriors Women and Didi Rugby Worcester's head coach, Alex Matthews. Alex, thank you for joining us and welcome.
That's all right. Hello. Hi, everyone.
And you've hot-footed it straight from Great Britain Olympics training to Worcester Warriors training ground, where you've another training session tonight. Is that right?
Yeah, we've had our first sevens training camp this week. So I've been in Loughborough since Monday, and then back to Worcester for training tonight, ready for a Premier game at the weekend. So
and a well-earned rest at the moment, having a slobber with me.
Yeah.
We're going to talk today in a bit more detail about your Great Britain Olympic ambitions, about Worcester's season, about the upcoming Six Nations schedule for England. But first of all, fantastic news for Didi Rugby is that classes are allowed to return from March the 29th onwards, back outside, back having fun in the open air. So tell us a little bit about your own classes. I mean, you only started in December, wasn't it? You only opened Worcester Didi classes in December. So you spent most of it locked down. So you must be super excited to get back outside and meet the kids and parents.
Yeah, we managed 3 sessions before this and another lockdown came, but they were great fun. So we're looking to start again from the 3rd of April. That's our first session back. So that's a Saturday class at Worcester Rugby Club over the road from Six Ways. And then we're adding in an additional Wednesday session, Wednesday morning for the young age groups. That's a bit of a trial run at the moment, just see how it goes. But yeah, we can't wait.
And it's going to be all age groups on Saturday, is it?
Yeah, so got the 18 months to 3 years, 9 o'clock, the 3 to 4 years at 9:40, and then the 4 to 6, which is our senior group, at 10:20. And then because of the demand's been so high for the minis, we've added in an extra session at 11 o'clock. Because at the moment the 9 a.m. one is fully booked. So
wow, fantastic!
Yeah,
and you've got a brilliant venue there in Worcester Rugby Club, haven't you, for something like that?
Yeah, we have. They've been brilliant, and they've got all the fields to play on, so the little ones can run off, go wild. Got more room to run away like they did from indoors. Yeah,
and they'll certainly have plenty of pent-up energy to go wild after the last few months, won't they?
It's going to be chaos, but it's brilliant, and it's good to see sort of the development in them just over the 3 sessions before. A few of the children, first session, obviously it's a new environment, surrounded by strangers, so obviously it can be quite distressing. And then by the 3rd session, they're absolutely loving it, getting involved. It's brilliant to see. It's very satisfying.
Fantastic. And if any parents would like to bring their children down for a session, Alex, there's free taster sessions going, is it? And how would people book on their children for the classes you just mentioned?
So you can either go to the Didi Rugby website and put in the Worcester in the venue box, or you can email me. Got my own email address, or email the info Didi Rugby, which is the main.
That one.
Yeah, that one. So that we practice it. Or you can go on sort of social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook. Just drop us a message wherever, really.
Okay, fantastic. We'll touch a bit more on that a bit later, but let's talk about the Olympics. I mean, incredible that you could be a few months away from appearing in the Olympic Games. When did you find out you'd first been selected for that initial Great Britain squad?
Well, the initial squad was over a year ago now. So obviously we had, before lockdown, it was all meant to be going ahead last year. So we had managed one camp before. I think we had one camp. We got home from that camp and everything went into lockdown.
Right.
Yeah. And then I think it was a couple months ago, sort of they've had to cut a few players, which is really tough. So we found out then. And then this week was our first camp ready for July, which is crazy because there's not much time at all. I think the other day our coach said it was 138 days together until we competed in this.
Wow.
But it's not cool.
But I imagine Yeah, I imagine really good to get together with everybody though and start the process of chucking the ball around.
Oh, definitely. We need it. Should send us in training on Tuesday. You could tell none of us have played sevens in over a year. But yeah, no, it's just the energy. I think because you have got that short amount of time, the energy is just so high. And you've just got to make the most of every moment, which is brilliant. Whereas if you've got a year, 2 years, you can be like, oh, I can do that tomorrow and just keep pushing it back. Whereas no, we've got 138 days, just let's go, give it a roll. We've got nothing to lose. It's really exciting.
Has it really sunk in yet that you might be playing in the Olympic Games in the sevens tournament?
Not at all. To be honest, at the moment, to think of even playing sevens is pretty crazy, just of how long it's been. But I think with how the world has been at the moment, you've literally got to take it sort of week by week, because anything could happen. We've had tournaments that are meant to be in our preparation that have had to be cancelled and things like that. So you can't really take anything set in stone, and just got to be adaptable and do what you can do.
And talking of being adaptable, what's it like having Welsh and Scots on the same side?
Yeah, no, it's good. I struggle with the accents actually. I'm awful with accents. So that's a barrier I need to develop on. But no, it's brilliant. It just adds a different dimension because they can bring sort of elements from their team and their culture into ours. So I think it just strengthens the squad, and it's quite cool because we talk about everyone's seen England play, everyone's seen Scotland play, but no one's seen GB play. So they don't know what we're going to bring and what we can put out there. So got an element of surprise. So it'd be good.
Yeah, sounds good. What's the next step now after your first camp? When do you meet up again?
So the girls are back together next week. So they've got camps each week now. Whereas I'm still involved with 15s as well. So hopefully I've got the Six Nations to look forward to in the next couple of weeks. I'm back training with them next week and see if I can get selected for that. I
was going to say we'll get onto the Worcester stuff in a moment, but it's a truncated Six Nations this year and it's been delayed. So is it something you've hardly even thought about yet, or is it something that's been on the horizon in the back of your mind?
No, I've definitely thought about it. I think because we've trained so hard as a 15 squad, especially since sort of January. Obviously, we had to finish off the Six Nations in November, which was a bit weird to do. And then, training's been full on already for the Six Nations. So it's definitely been at the forefront of our minds. I guess it's a bit tricky as well because the World Cup's just been canned. That was meant to be in sort of September time this year.
Yeah,
it was part of our stepping stone. But it's just given us more of a focus just to solely concentrate on Six Nations. So it'll be good.
And you've got 3 games coming up, am I right?
Yeah, so Scotland, Italy, and then it's a week off, and then we've got France.
Okay, all right.
No, I think it's just Scotland. I think I'm preempting a final there. Yeah, Scotland, Italy, and then we'll see.
I think with Great Britain Sevens, international 15s with England and Worcester, you'd probably be forgiven for wondering what's coming next at this moment.
Yeah, my mind has been all over the place the last few months, so yeah, you have to forgive me for that one.
But you're back at Worcester now, and Worcester's your main focus heading into this weekend's game away at Gloucester, where you lost narrowly to them, I think, last time. Do you remember much about that game? Yeah,
it'll be a good rivalry. That on this pitch right now, actually. Very physical. They're just a great great team to play against. It's very close, so it'll be a fun one to push us and challenge us.
And a couple of England teammates up against you, maybe?
Yeah, just a few. Zoe Croft in the line out, she's just dangerous. She can literally steal anything. And then obviously you've got Mo at 9, who's, although she got injured a couple of weeks, unfortunately. But yeah, there's a few key players we've got to keep an eye out for.
How have Worcester's season gone this season for you guys?
It's been challenging. I just think the girls lack a lot of confidence from sort of previous seasons. but their performances, I don't think, reflect the results at all. And we're developing so much game on game, and literally some results are the fingertips away, which is the frustrating part. But I love the girls here. I love the staff. They're absolutely brilliant. You do just have that family feel here, and that's what I love about it.
As a forward, how easy or difficult has it been to learn line-out calls for one team and then flop straight into another team when you're expected to know them immediately? Is it challenging, to say the least?
I think everyone here could answer that for you. At the moment, they're just kicking me out of the line-outs. They're not even putting me in there. It's been tricky. I've been flipping from England 15s camp to Worcester. And I'm getting all the line-outs muddled up. I come to Worcester doing the England ones and vice versa. So the line-out leaders absolutely love me.
Okay, well, good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Personally, your own
line-outs after this.
Yeah. Personally, your own rugby career started at a young age, and tell us a little bit about how you got into rugby. And I remember I saw in a video that you put out at the weekend on a Didi Rugby Worcester video with your mum on Mother's Day, that it wasn't a sport you really took to straight away.
No, so I was 3-4 years old when my parents took me over to the local rugby club. We're fortunate that our back garden literally backed onto the Camberley Rugby Club, and just me and my older sister. She was 4 years older, just causing havoc around the house, really active, want to be outside. So they took us over there. And initially, I didn't like it at all. I'm very, very quiet, shy, introvert. And the coach there was very extrovert, very loud, and wanting everyone to do silly things, which I just didn't want to do. Just at that age, I didn't want to do it. So I think I cried.
So what made you stick with it then?
Pardon?
What made you stick with it?
Well, I didn't go back for another year, and then I think it was seeing my sister, seeing her do it on a Sunday and love it. So I gave it another go, and like my mum said in the video, I didn't look back once. I think they're some of my best days playing rugby over there with about 50 boys, really. It was just me and a bunch of boys. And I loved it, just getting muddy. It was great fun.
Tell us what you love about the sport, because rugby is so good for not only the physical exertions on the pitch, but for the camaraderie off the pitch. Is that something that you eventually grew to love as well?
Without a doubt. The culture, like I mentioned here at Worcester, it's just a family. And I think you've seen during lockdown as well on social media, how tight-knit the rugby world can be. If you're in need of help, everyone will pull together and help you out. And I love the sportsmanship. My mum said one of her favourite memories about my sister was she did an athletics race. She won by ages, and the first thing she did was turn around and shake every single person's hand. She's at that age, you don't see that in athletics, or you didn't back then, but that's come from rugby. So I think it's that, and you get the understanding of so many different personalities and individuals that you wouldn't necessarily get in your normal day-to-day life, or
so many different influences.
No, it's brilliant. So many oddballs. I love it. We're all oddballs. That's why we do it.
I also noticed from your Instagram feed, Alex, it's taking you to some fantastic far off places around the world. That must be brilliant as well, to have travelled so much at your age.
I think that's one of the reasons why I love Seven so much. You get to travel the world. Obviously, you get to in 15s, but it's more like Six Nations, or you have one big tour a year. Whereas Sevens, it's every week, a week a month. You go away to Hong Kong, Dubai, Canada. It's amazing, and I love traveling. I love exploring on days that we can get away. Just making the most of different cultures and things.
Have you got any favourites of the places you visited whilst on rugby tours?
I love South Africa. I think that was one of our last sevens before lockdown happened, and it was the first time we got to have a leg there. But that was just, I think the scenery was stunning. Beaches were beautiful. Coffee was great. That helps.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, coffee and beaches. I'm happy.
So we've mentioned lockdown an awful lot, the word lockdown, during this interview, and how the last 12 months been for you. Particularly, I've been quite interested in how on earth have you managed to keep fit and make sure you stay on top of your food, drink, calorie intake regime as well. Talk us through it.
Lockdown's been, well, I guess for everyone has been tough. But I guess we come into lockdown, we lost our sevens contracts. The Olympics got cancelled. It's like everything we've been building for the last few years had just sort of got taken away. So in that sense, it was hard. Felt lost, but I felt like I had to keep training. I had to keep on top of it. I got so fit and sort of my peak, best sort of form in sevens I'd got in a long time. So a bit of me started to overtrain. It was quite hard. I couldn't stop. I was quite my days are very structured and locked down. So looking back, I should have rested and relaxed a little bit.
Alex, give us a quick example of a regular day in lockdown then, during those structured days to try and make sure you stayed fit. How did it work?
I'd often have my alarm set for 6:30, which is ridiculous thinking about it now. 6:30 at the park running, by sort of 7:30, having done some prep before, back for breakfast, and then I'd be in the garden doing my weight session. And I planned to sort of have all my training done by midday. So I had the afternoon to sort of do some online learning or reading, which I guess was my switch off, but it wasn't really.
Right.
I'm a productive person, so I felt like I had to make the most of all this time we'd been given that we don't normally get given at all.
Yeah, and it was a real full-on day, was it? Right up to night time, right up to bedtime?
Yeah, pretty much. I'd taken it on as well to try and sort out my nutrition. So all my meals were very sort of prepped, and a lot of my day was done cooking and sort of prepping meals and snacks as well. When you're sort of contracted and you're in camps, you get the luxury of having your breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks provided. So that was quite an actual stressful thing. It sounds silly, but cooking and sort of coming up with your own meals can be stressful when you're used to just giving it to you. Yeah,
good. Okay. What did you miss the most during lockdown?
My family.
Okay.
It's hard. So I moved sort of Worcester, Gloucester way for lockdown to be with my partner's family. So it's hard. I'm a big family person, so it's hard not seeing them. And I've lived with my mum and dad for since I was a baby. So tough. And miss seeing the little people, my nieces and nephews. Just want to give them a big squeeze and pop their heads off. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we're getting closer to that popping your nephew's heads off day. Not too far away now. What about a guilty pleasure, Alex? Let's finish with a few quick fire questions. What's a guilty pleasure?
A chocolate.
Always.
Always chocolate. Galaxy Ripple. You can't beat it.
Oh, you can't beat that.
No. Sensational.
That is true. Yeah. But a flake's a close second without any.
No, not at all. They just crumble and fall apart. You need the extra chocolate around it to keep it
together. I'm glad that discussion has gone on the intellectual level for that section there. I was going to say, is there anywhere in the world that you'd like to go that you've not been yet in terms of travelling?
Fiji, sort of that area, all those islands. I'd love to go there. Samoa. Yeah, I guess we get to travel a lot with rugby, but then to actually see the area, you obviously get one afternoon or something, so you don't get to explore it properly.
Okay, yeah.
There's so many places. It's all I want to do.
Yeah. Well, there's plenty of time left yet.
Yeah.
Some real quick fire ones to finish with. Who's your loudest teammate you've ever played with?
Marley Packer.
Without a shadow of a doubt. You didn't even have to think about that. Okay. What about a toughest opponent?
Ooh, that's tricky. Oh, you said quick fire. This is not quick.
Okay, you've got 10 seconds.
Kelly Brazier, New
Okay.
Zealand. Just have footwork. Insane. Can't keep up with it.
We spoke about this just before, but what about the best ground you ever played at? I think you quite liked one in France, didn't you?
Yeah, the one in Paris.
Which was what? Sorry?
You can say it.
Was it Stade Chambouin?
Yeah, that one. I think it's because it was the 2014 World Cup semi-final and final, and the stadium was packed. And as sort of the women's rugby games growing, we never used to have that. So to have that, I literally stood there on the sideline before we played and had goosebumps everywhere. So that's why that's my favourite.
Yeah, it felt like a fantastic atmosphere watching those games on television as well.
Oh, yeah, it was insane. The French always bring a great crowd.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They're not quiet, are they?
No, not at all. But it's still, we love it. That's what we like.
Yeah, absolutely. And just finally, what profession do you think you'd be in if you weren't playing rugby?
That's something I stress about that quite often. But I was into sort of psychology before sort of rugby took over. I did sports psychology at university, and I was looking at doing my masters. But yeah, so something to do with mindset and the brain.
Yeah, I guess it's quite difficult. I mean, what age were you when you got into proper top level rugby?
Well, I got capped at 18. So, and when I was at university, I was in a semi-professional program with sevens anyway. We went semi-pro in 2013 before we went professional in 2014. So,
right,
a long time.
It really has been pretty much straight out of school and straight into the sport.
Yeah, my life has been rugby really. I went to Hartbury College as well, which was sort of rugby alongside A level. So, but I love it. So why not? Like my parents say, you can only run around for so long, so do it.
I'll second that. Alex, just a final mention for the Didi classes again in Worcester at Worcester RFC. Tell us what ages and when they're going to be again.
So 18 months to 6 years, and our first session back is Saturday, 3rd April at Worcester Rugby Club, and then we are starting a new session on Wednesday, 7th of April for 18 months to 4 years. Fantastic.
That's brilliant. If you've got any questions for Alex, please pop them in the comments below, and we'll do our best to get around to answering them underneath. Alex, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for giving up your time, and I hope you enjoy your rest before this evening's training session. Good luck at the weekend against Gloucester, and thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's been lovely. Got a smile to my face. Perfect.
To everyone that's tuned in this afternoon for this session of Didi Rugby Live, thank you very much for your attendance as well. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel for updates about Didi Lives coming up in the future. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can find out more details about Didi Rugby at www.didyrugby.com. And if you'd like to find out any more information about registering your child for a free taster session, or perhaps finding out some details about becoming a part-time or full-time franchise owner, you can email info@didyrugby.com. That's all from me, Martin Close, and thanks again to Alex, and thanks for your time for joining in, and we'll catch you again on this Didi Rugby Live very soon. Thank you, and bye-bye.